Hey everybody, it's Pandy and I'm playing World of Tanks. This video is going to be dedicated to Trolloff, a professional troll on the forums. If you guys don't know who he is, you guys probably do, because he is professional troll. You know, he's just good at what he does. He's pretty well informed, so you know, he's not really like talking bullshit, but people will get the impression that he is a troll because he's always proving them wrong, and it's the internet, so the internet will be the internet and call him a troll. That's why he's professional troll. Does that make any sense? I have no idea, but he has good people. You should talk to him. Pick his gray matter if you have a chance. He's very well informed. He's good people. This is the reason why this video is dedicated to him. Now, this video is going to be about the 4502 or the VK4502. That's what I meant to say. For World of Tanks, I'm only going to do the gameplay of the Ausf version, and I refuse to do the Ausf version because I hate that son of a bitch. Really don't want to talk about it because it is such a piece of shit, and I can see why people wanted the E75 for the longest time. Don't remember the thing sucking so much during closed and open beta, but it is simply a shitty tank. How shitty is it, Pandy? Well, shitty enough for me to attempt and debate and consider and confirm that I'm going to free XP my way past it. Now that is shitty. Now the VK4502 started up right after the failure of the VK4501 Porsche Tiger due to the advancement in technology and tank design during World War II. Simply putting more armored plates onto the Porsche Tiger was not going to be enough to meet the needs of the German armed forces. Development of the VK4502 saw 4 different types of engines, 2 different types of drivetrains, one electric and one is hydraulic, and 2 different types of hull configurations, one being rear mounted turret, one being forward mounted. The biggest problem that the 4502 saw was purely because of the advanced engine designs allowed the tank to fail just like its first brethren, the 4501 Porsche Tiger. The 10-cylinder engine simply failed during trials, and after that point there was simply no confidence left into the project holders of Porsche to be able to put out a useful design out there that will be practical within the current conflict at the time. Anything related to the 4502 project was dropped in 1942 in favor of further development of the King Tiger, but work did continue in some capacity into mid-1944. By that time, the vehicle had hydraulic drives instead of electric one, and a new suspension and a 900 horsepower air-cooled diesel engine, which was also experimental, and along with a bigger and heavier 88mm main gun, which was set for delivery in the quote-unquote far in the future. In July 1942, 30 hulls were confirmed to have been built, with the material of 50 more already being prepared. Cope estimated that the delivery of these 15 hulls per month was to be built for the Porsche 4502, but the project took a serious setback during testing. There was just so many engine related issues. In November of 1942, the contract was canceled when 20 hulls were already built and about 40 to 50 already under construction, with an additional 50 turrets worth of individual plates were ready to be assembled. In 1943, Cope was given permission to assemble 3 of these operational turrets for the VK4502, and they were delivered in February 1943. This is the last thing that was heard about the project until April of 1944, where it was reported that 1 hull and turret was completed, with 2 other ones close to completion. August 1944 is requested by Dr. Spears, or Mr. Spears, requested that the remaining turrets be converted for the Henschel chassis of the Kong Tiger. The only part that was retained and used for other tanks was that turret for the King Tiger, Kong Tiger, that big motherfucking Tiger tank. Now, these turrets were mislabeled as quote-unquote Porsche turrets. Like I said in the King Tiger video, Porsche didn't design or produce them. I get into the Tiger 2 video and I basically go through it, and Cope was the ones who produced these turrets that were planned to be used on the Porsche tanks, which is where it got its nickname, which ended up turning around and being used for Henschel tanks. Does that make any sense? Well, yeah, that's all I got on this related to this tank. There isn't really much information about it, mainly due to the loss of records during the war and also the factor that it was an unsuccessful tank. There wasn't much development put into it. It was mostly a Porsche Tiger with sloped armor, and it was upgraded and modernized. There was rumors that it was used during combat when basically a makeshift battalion or logistics battalion was made into a tank company, and this group was rumored to have one of these vehicles that was completed, used in a combat, but the Soviets have taken pictures of them at the testing grounds, even though this company has reportedly been destroyed and wiped out miles away. So if I was me, I would say that the vehicle was never used in combat. Now within World of Tanks, the VK4502 Ausf is a pretty fun fucking tank. The firepower on this beast is somewhat lacking purely because the gun that comes on it is a short 105mm that comes with the Kong Tiger. The gun is still capable of taking names, kicking ass, and shitting on smaller tanks, but the problem when you're facing against larger targets like the IS-3 and the T-32 with thicker armor, better slopes, and better capability than the 4502 Ausf, you might be able to pin these tanks whenever you're on their sides, but when you're going head to head with them, you're automatically at a disadvantage because they have the bigger and better guns where you have the shorter, 10.5 centimeter main gun. Only real advantage that you happen to have compared to these tanks is your mobility, which somewhat doesn't really help you when you're going head to head. It becomes a major league slugfest, which you will lose every time. Now the armor on the 4502 is good enough to do what you gotta do that makes experience and kills. Just like the Tiger 1 and anything with flat armored plates, I guess you could say, with no slope. You must angle that tank to be able to get maximum thickness towards the enemy. This gives you the best chance to deflect rounds and hope to survive engagements with lower tier tanks. Generally, about a 20 to 30 degree angle against your enemy will allow you to keep your side armor protected to some capacity, and also sometimes allow you to get dings. Your armor is only really good against smaller shells coming at you, and it does manage to hold its own when you're under attack. It's okay. Against bigger tanks, you gotta be just lucky to be able to survive those, or hope that they slam into your turret. Now the mobility on this tank is the real strength of this beast, and as far as I know, it is the fastest tier 8 tank that is in the game that's not French. It does get to A to B fairly quickly and allows you to outflank enemy tanks without much issue. With the weaker armor and the weaker gun, you must be able to flank the enemies to be able to gain any kind of key of success with this bad boy. Now the flank shots do allow you to manage to get around them, and having a little bit of good armor allows you to take some incoming shots, but flanking the enemy and getting the first shot off gives you the advantage whenever it comes to engagements. And because I have more of a medium tank bias, I always love the mobility in tanks, and it's always fitting in the overall gameplay of a passive aggressive breakthrough at weak spots type of mentality that I happen to have. It's good for me. I don't know for everyone else. Some people, they like the thicker armor and all that good stuff, but I enjoyed the mobility, so a thumbs up on that. And overall, the VK4502, like I said, is a fun fucking tank. Its gun and armor is weaker, and if you can overlook those because of its mobility compared to its tier 8 brothers and cousins, it is a pretty good tank. The overall mobility allows this tank, especially if it's fully upgraded, to be a very fairly balanced heavy tank with the ability to be a fire brigade to plug holes whenever there's critical times of battle where you gotta be there right now to get it done. It's not recommended to keep this tank in your garage, but it is worth the time and effort to grind through this tank because it is pretty fun. I'm not enjoying the Ausf version, so I'm going free XP my way through it, but this is a pretty decent tank. And I'm sorry that I kind of sound like I have a stuffy nose, because I do have a stuffy nose. I'm having a difficult time actually doing this recording, so if I sound like I'm out of breath or something, it's because I am. So if this doesn't really come out the way I wanted it to, this is like my 5th or 6th cut trying to get this right, and I give up. I'm just gonna reball it and release it. So if, I kind of sound kind of bad, sorry. I tried my best. And because I tried my best and I might have failed, I want to go ahead and reward you guys for listening and being tortured through the process of me having the sniffles. And the way I'm going to reward you guys is by giving you some World of Tanks gold. This week, like every other week, I'm going to give away 3,000 gold on the North American server, 2,500 gold on the European Union server. To win said gold, you must be A, be subscribed to my channel, and B, post a comment down below, maybe about the video question, which is, what is the most important aspect of a heavy tank? Firepower, mobility, or armor? Myself, firepower is the most important, purely because if you can't damage targets by getting through its armor, what good are you going to be on the battlefield? What is your armor and mobility going to do and serve you by not being able to dish it out? Firepower always, and at least in World of Tanks, makes or breaks the tank. And we've all seen this with the T-44 after the release of the Type 59. At some point, the 100mm simply wasn't enough to make the tank effective, and it needed a better gun, which in turn, developers rewarded us by giving us the mid-level gun of the T-54 to balance the tank out with a little better engine. So it's important to be able to do that damage and to at least have some kind of decent firepower to be able to make an effect on the battlefield, and at least to be effective to help win the game. So you got to do what you got to do, and well, you always run into balancing issues. So with that, I am Pandy, and I thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna go take a nap, and, you know, hopefully, yeah, whatever. You guys take it easy. Good hunting.